Now in between your type A design and your type B design, you're always going to do a back post double crochet row where all of the stitches in the braided cable get a back post double crochet. So in the beginning, you're only going to make one double crochet into each of the 3 stitches in the front. Your chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So I'm going to make my double crochet into the next stitch. And then my double crochet into the next stitch. So there's my 3 double crochet. Now I'm starting my braided cable design. The other thing that you have to do is you have to keep track of where the right side is and where the wrong side is. Now the wrong side has the ridges. So I know that this is my wrong side because it has the ridges of the back post. When you turn it to the front, you have the braided cable design. So you have to keep track of the braided cable design so you know whether you're doing a front post double crochet, which is on the braided cable design right side, or if you're doing a back post double crochet on the ridge side. So this is the front. I have the right side facing me. So I'm going to be doing a front post double crochet. So I'm going to show you that now. So around my first part of the braided design, I have my first set of 4. I'm going to be doing a front post double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm still going to go into the space in front of the next stitch double crochet. Remember, with the back post we came from behind. So now we're doing the front post, so we're going in front of, going towards the back, and then coming up, so that the post is in front of the crochet hook. And that's how it gets its name, the front post double crochet. And then you work it the same way. You just bring up a loop, so yarn over, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 of those loops, 2 loops remaining, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 remaining loops to complete your front post double crochet. So you're going to be making a front post double crochet around each of the 12 stitches in your braided cable design. That's 3. Now comes the tricky part. Now for the type A design, it's always going to be the same way. So what you're going to do is you're actually working into the next stitch. So the next stitch are in the 4 back post treble crochets that are furthest from me, and then the last set will work are the ones that are closest to me. So you're going to take and move those back 4 so that you can see them. So I kind of scooted them over. Then I'm going to take and just make my back post double crochet around the first back post treble crochet that is furthest from me. So there's 1. There's 2. Three. and then the last one in the back. Four. So I just finished a back post double crochet around each of those back post treble crochets that are furthest from me. Now I'm going to move up to the ones that are closest to me and make a back post double crochet around those. So you can see how I'm maneuvering my crochet hook to get around that first back post treble crochet. Then I'm going to make a back post double crochet around those remaining 3 to complete the set of 12. And any time that you're missing one out of that set of 12, then you know you've done something wrong and have to go back and correct it. Otherwise, your cable design is going to come out wrong. Oops! See? What I did there, which you probably caught, you need to do front post double crochet. See how I created a ridge? So I have to undo that. And see, that's the tricky part you'll have to remember when you're working with the braided cable side. You're doing the front post. So I'm just going to leave the error in the video so you can see how it messes up the design and how to correct it. You just go back and you make a front post double crochet. So let me show you that again. So again, I have the 4 back post treble crochet that are furthest from me. So I had made the error of making a back post double crochet. I want to make a front post. So I'm going to go in front of, so the space in front of, go behind so that the post is in front of the crochet hook, bring up a loop for a front post double crochet. So yeah, with this pattern, until you get the hang of it, you may be undoing a little bit, hopefully just a little bit. That's why you want to keep track of your work after you finish each row to make sure that you've done it correctly. It's easy to not pay attention and then make the wrong stitch. But it's easy to catch a mistake because, as you can see, they work in sets. So we have a set of 12. I just finished 8. Now I'm going to finish the last 4. And then I just completed the back post, the front post double crochet on each of the 12 stitches of the braided cable. And that's what it looks like on the front, and then this is what it looks like on the back. Now I have 3 stitches remaining, so I'm going to make 1 double crochet into each of those remaining stitches. So if you don't have the 3 remaining stitches, then that means that you've done something wrong on this row, so you have to redo it like I did until you have the correct number of stitches. And let me just finish this last stitch. Your work should look like this. Now we're going to move up to the next row, so you're going to make a chain of 3, then turn your work Now this row is going to be the type B design. So remember, we have the type A design marked so we know where we are, because sometimes you have to put your work down. And in this project, you don't want to lose track of what design you're on, type A or type B. In between each of the designs, you're going to have that back post double crochet row. So you'll be alternating type A, back post double crochet, type B, back post double crochet, etc. So I'm going to work a few with you to make sure you've got the patterns down. So again, you're going to start with the regular double crochet. The first chain 3 counts as your first one. 1 double crochet into the second stitch, and then a double crochet into your third stitch. And then we're ready for our type B design. So with the type B design, we're going to make a back post double crochet around the first 4. Remember, with the type A design, you had skipped the first 4. So now we're going to make a back post double crochet around the first 4 stitches in the type B design. So just yarn over. You're going to go behind. You're going to make a back post double crochet. And yes, it is correct. It's the back post double crochet. And then you're going to make a back post double crochet around the second. And a back post double crochet around the third. I'm going to back up just a little bit on the video. And then a back post double crochet around the 4th. Just make sure that you grab the right post. So I have my first 4 back post double crochet. Now you're going to skip the next 4 stitches and make a back post treble crochet around the last 4 stitches. So you're going to skip 4, and then you're going to make a back post treble crochet around the last 4 stitches. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and then I'm going to go into the space before the first of the last 4 stitches. I'm going to bring up a loop and make my treble crochet, my back post treble crochet, and then I'm going to make a back post treble crochet around the next 3 stitches for a total of 4. Remember, we're working in sets of 4. So now, the easiest way that I found to work this next part into the skipped 4 is to turn your work. So you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to make a front post treble crochet around those skipped 4 stitches. Now it might be helpful to kind of spread the stitches apart so you can see their posts. I put little yarn markers in for you so you can see the stitches. It might be helpful for people having trouble with this to put yarn markers in those 4 skipped stitches until you get the hang of it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove one of the yarn markers in my first stitch that I'm working in. So I'm going to go ahead and spread it apart so I can see the post. And then you're just going to yarn over twice. And since this is the front braided cable design, you want to make a front post treble crochet. So I'm going in front and then behind the post so that the post is in front of my crochet hook. Yarn over, bring up a loop, then make your treble crochet, then you're ready for your second. So you can see I have the yarn marker in my second stitch. Go ahead and remove it, and then I'm going to make a front post treble crochet around that second post. Then you have your third. Go ahead and make that post visible. Make your front post treble crochet around that post. So I know that the yarn markers make it easier to see, but without the yarn markers, sometimes you could see how it can get a little confusing where the stitches are. So the yarn markers will help you until you get the hang of it, and then it'll be easy for you. And you won't need the yarn markers. Then you can see your braided cable taking shape, looking beautiful. Then what you're going to do after you finish making your 4 front post treble crochets, you're going to turn your work. So this is the part where sometimes if I'm not paying attention, I'll just start working on this side, or I forget that I'm supposed to turn my work. You're supposed to turn it back. Then you just make your double crochet into the 3 remaining stitches. So what helps you keep track are the sets, so I know that I've done it correctly. And of course you have to pay attention to what design you're making, whether it's the front or the back, or if you're on type A or type B design, and always remember the middle post of the back post double crochets or the front post double crochets, depending on what side that you're on. So again, this is the right side with the braided cable design, and then the back side with the ridges. So then go ahead and chain 3, turn your work, and we're going to get ready for our front post double crochet row. Okay, so now you're going to make your double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So that will give you a total of 3, counting the beginning, chain 3. And then that will bring us to our braided cable design. Now after the type B design, it's a little bit different. So with the type B design, the next stitch will be the 4 front post treble crochet in front of you. So the first 4 treble crochet closest to you. And then you're going to be working in the ones that are furthest from you. So you're going to be actually pulling up the back 4. See? It's kind of crossed. The front 4, and then you have the back 4. So whenever you're making the front post double crochet round after the type B design, it'll be worked this way. So now I'm going to make a front post double crochet around the 4 closest to me. So you can see how that's opposite the type A design. You worked the ones furthest from you first. And if you forget and you work the back post or front post double crochet on the ones furthest from you, if you're twisting and you can't get it, then that means you probably, because it's really awkward if you try to do that with the type B design. So you know you're doing it wrong. So now I'm going to work the front post double crochet around the 4 closest to me, and you can see how it's just a natural. It's not awkward at all when I'm making them. It's very easy, and that's how it should be when you're working the front post double crochet on the type B design, after the type B design. So I just finished the front post double crochet on the 4 closest to me. So now I'm going to pull up those back 4. Make sure you have your 4 in the back, and then work your front post double crochet on those back 4. Then that will bring you to your remaining 4 in the set of 12, and you just make a front post double crochet around the remaining 4 stitches for the set of 12. And like I said before, anytime your numbers don't come out right, that means you've done something wrong and you need to go back and find the error and correct it before you can move on. Otherwise, it just won't come out right. And you can see how your braided cable is taking shape, looking gorgeous. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet into each of the remaining stitches. Then you're ready to move up to your next row. And then this is the back, and this is the front. Now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to turn your work. So now we have the wrong side facing us. You're going to go ahead and make your double crochet in those initial stitches for a total of 3 double crochet, counting the first, chain 3 as a double crochet. And now I know that I'm on a type A, because here's type A, here's my row of double crochet, front post double crochet, type B design, row of front post double crochet, and that brings me to the type A. So I'm going to move up my yarn marker so that I know that this is the type A design. Trust me, I've needed this thing. Sometimes I thought I could just remember and then I'd forget. So this really helps. Unless you always end on a skip 4, then you'll know you're on a skip 4, which is the type A design. But for me, there's so much to remember with the braided cable, making sure it comes out right, that the more tricks I have to help me remember, the better. So now I'm on a type A design, so I'm just going to work this with you to help you so you can remember. You're going to make a back post treble crochet into around, you're going to skip 4 and then make it around that 5th stitch. So I'm going to yarn over twice, skip 4 stitches, and then make my back post treble crochet around the post of that 5th stitch. So that's 1. Two. 3. 4. So I have my 4 back post treble crochets. Now you're going to make a back post treble crochet around each of the skipped 4 stitches. The first one will be around the first skipped stitch. So again, I'm going to yarn over twice, and then I use my middle finger to kind of open up the gap. You can do it first if you want, so you can get that first post. The first one's always the tricky one. You can kind of see how I'm holding my fingers. And then I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to go in between, into the gap in front of the post, and then make sure that the post is on the back of my crochet hook. Then I'm going to bring up a loop. You can see how I'm kind of pinching and bringing up my loop, and then I'm just making my treble crochet. And then the rest of them tend to be a little bit easier after that first one. So then just kind of spread apart. Make sure you can see your set of 4. And then I'm going to make my back post treble crochet around the second skipped stitch. And then around the third skipped stitch. Uh-oh. I just have to redo it. And then my last skipped stitch. Then you should have the 4 remaining stitches. This time I'm not going to make it around the same post I made my back post treble crochet. I'm going to make it around the right stitch. So I'm making a back post double crochet, back post double crochet around the remaining 4 stitches. And I completed my set of 12, so I know I made my cable correctly. And then I can make my double crochet into the remaining stitches. And then I'll show you what the cable looks like. I'm going to go ahead and chain 3 for the next row, and then turn my work. And this is how your cable should be looking. So you have one cable going this way, you have this one going up that way, and then you have this one coming up that way. So now you're on the front post double crochet row. Remember, you do that in between each of the sets. I'm going to go ahead and just work it with you. I'm only going to work one more set with you. So I've already worked the type A. I'm working the front post double crochet, and then I'll work the type B design one more time with you, and then you just keep repeating it over and over until you get the length that you want for your scarf. So remember, we have the right side facing us, so you want the front post double crochet. I'm just kind of working fast since I've already shown you how to do this. And some of you may have written down. Now here, remember, the type 8 pattern is always going to be the ones furthest from you. And this time I'm going to work the front post. So that's the one thing you don't want to forget either. Make sure you're working the right front post or back post where you're supposed to. With the cable facing you, it's going to be the front post, because you don't want the ridges messing up your cable design. So I'm just kind of showing you how I work mine. Let me back the camera up a little bit so you can kind of watch. So I just did the back 4, now I'm going to work the front 4 of the type A design. Just making a back post double crochet row. Remember, that's going to be after every design, whether it's type A or type B. And the front post double crochet will be a little different, they're a little bit opposite. Remember, I worked the back 4 and then the front 4, and then it's the opposite for the type B. You work the front 4 and then the back 4. And then I'm just going to make a double crochet into my remaining stitches. This is what my cable design is looking like. Then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn my work, and you're ready for your type B design. I'm just going to work it with you since I already told you once, so I'm not going to go real slow. I'm just going to make it for those that aren't writing it down. So here, you're going to work, this is the type B, so I'm going to work a back post double crochet around the first 4. Remember, the type A, you skipped the first 4. So type B, you work a back post double crochet around the first 4 stitches. You can kind of see how I'm holding my fingers and crochet hook. So that's 3 and 4. Now you're going to work a back post treble crochet around the 5th stitch. So you're going to skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then work a back post treble crochet around that 5th post. So that's 1. Messed up that one. That's 2. 3, and 4. Then, if you remember, you're going to turn your work and you're going to work a front post treble crochet around the skipped 4 stitches. So this time I'm not going to place my yarn markers, so you can kind of see what it'll look like. If you need to use the yarn markers, that's fine. That'll help you until you get used to what you're looking at. Then, remember, you're going to be turning your work back and making your double crochet into the remaining 3 stitches. Then you chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work. This is how your gorgeous cable design is looking so far. Now you're ready for your front post double crochet row for the type B design. And remember, it's the opposite. You'll be working the front post double crochet around the first 4 that are closest to you. Then you're going to work the front post double crochet around the ones that are furthest from you. You just kind of pull them up. Sometimes you have to pull them up so you can see them because they're kind of hiding in the back there. And you make a front post double crochet around those back 4. And then you have 4 remaining that you make a front post double crochet around. Then you just make 1 double crochet into your remaining 3 stitches. Chain 3, and then turn your work, and you're ready for the type A design. And you just keep repeating. You see how I'm making a beautiful cable design. So you have, here is 1 design going up that way, 1 design going up that way, and then 1 design going up that way. And then this is what it looks like on the back. So you just keep repeating until you have the length that you want for your scarf. For my toddler scarf, I made it 36 inches. And then you can see how you can make it as wide as you want. So if you want to make a wider scarf, you just have to remember the number that you need for your cable, whatever particular cable that you're working on.